Hello and welcome to the Energy World. I am Sudhir, and this is an exclusive interaction with the Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency, Irena, Francesco La Camera. First of all, a very warm welcome to you on our platform, sir. This is such a great opportunity at a great time to be talking about renewables, renewable energy, and the fact is that very broadly, that find its growth globally, not just in India, right? So let me begin by asking you how do you first of all assess India's energy transition, and the world is talking about energy transition today, and a lot is being talked about India also in that context, right? Particularly from the point of view of how renewable energy capacity addition in India has grown. So how do you look at it, that entire energy transition, and if you could put that in a global context for us? Yeah.
So first of all, thank for having me in this discussion today. And I think this is a very good question to start our conversation. So when we talk about India, we have to talk a country that is the fourth in terms of installed renewable capacity in the world. That has an impressive goal of achieving 50% of renewables into the power grid in 2030. That last year has invested in 30 gigawatts of new added capacity. So a good heading in terms of renewable energy. And as the objective to become carbon neutral in 2017. I think this is last one, I think is the only goal that we see could be reached perhaps in a shorter term. And I'm quite optimistic about that because as far as I can see from the data and how far I can learn from the discussion we are having, the country is really moving in a clear direction to build a new energy system. And that is, as we always say in Arena, it seems to me they are currently moved to build the system largely based on the use of renewables. I think hydrogen is going to take a space, mainly the green hydrogen, as you mentioned. And the bioenergy is also an important area where I think the country is investing a lot. They also have been engaged in support countries around the world through the work of the also contributing to the work of the ISA. We have a very good collaboration with them. So I think India is becoming a powerhouse for the energy system. And I'm sure this is one of the reasons we are here, that they will take the opportunity of their presidency of the G20 to show the world that they can lead the energy transition in this part of the world.
Okay, fair enough. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is, when it comes to energy transition, it's absolutely critical that a certain level of international cooperation is achieved, right, to achieve the larger, broad goal of energy transition, globally. How in your view, what is the kind of role that India can play or plays at driving that international cooperation that is required to get the energy transition right?
So first of all, India is a big and complex reality. So if a so big, a complex reality is making progress toward the clean energy system, the way they are getting there could be showcased to the neighbor countries around the world to show how India is matching their goal. And this is already a contribution to the energy transition. I also see that they are engaged in investing in many countries in Africa and elsewhere. And we have been discussing also today how we can make trilateral cooperation to engage more in deep and in large to have an impact on this aspect. International cooperation is key and this not apply not only for India, but apply for everyone. We always say that the energy transition and the Paris Agreement is at stake, especially in two parts of the world, Africa and Southeast Asia and Asia. So it's very important that we cooperate for making possible for these two continents to move faster in the direction of the energy transition. And naturally, India can be a key actor in this respect. So this is another reason for Irena to be here in India in this day.
Okay, okay. You're currently visiting India, and it's very right that you're talking about you have that we're talking about India's agenda here. So I just wanted to understand when it comes to understanding your agenda of this particular visit that we have now. Collaborating with India on green hydrogen is one of the agenda items, right? So I want to ask you, what makes green hydrogen development significant to India and the larger Asian region?
So naturally, green hydrogen is relevant for the world. And why is relevant? Because one of the challenges that we have in decarbonize the energy system is to reach those sectors, what we call the sector that are where CO2 are difficult to abate. That means the heavy industries. So this sector can be electrified using hydrogen, not through the normal renewable grids. So in this respect, the use of hydrogen could be crucial in all the parts of the world where there are heavy industries in place. So here is going to play a very important role for decarbonize, for example, the steel industries. And this is already part of the strategy that is under the attention of the cabinet. So I think the country is already clear where hydrogen can play a major role. So hydrogen will be not the 100% of the new energy system. In our assessment, it will be the 12% of the total energy system in 2050. So a big share, but it will be not only hydrogen. Hydrogen will be a complement of the energy system largely based on renewables. As another component that where India is moving is on bioenergy and biorefineries.
Okay. Just in the way of clarification, you're saying hydrogen will account for 12% of the total energy system. You're talking about India, or you're talking about the global energy system?
Both. It will be relevant globally and will be relevant in India, because India in some way could play the role of being one powerhouse for hydrogen. I think there are all the conditions, because here renewables can be produced at very low cost. The cost of hydrogen, green hydrogen in the future, will be determined by two main components: the cost of producing renewable energy and the cost of transport. And we make clear in our report on the geopolitics of the energy transformation, with focus on hydrogen, green hydrogen, how the green hydrogen market will be not really a global market, but mainly a regional market, because there will be many actors on the field. So the competitiveness will be not like it was in the old system. The rent will diminish. We will I'd say, be closer to a system that will be really competitive. So this cost will determine the success of trading hydrogen. And so I think that in the region, this could be one important role that India could play, starting already to work on this. And we have seen that there are already many companies that are running here for assessing the feasibility of investing.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, the country has already announced a hydrogen mission and hydrogen policy also. And so currently we're in a state, we're in that phase where a lot of discussion is happening with all the stakeholders, including all the companies, to get things together. And I completely understand with, and I completely agree with you when you say that, it's the hard to abate sectors that will, going forward. That is exactly the point where, the green hydrogen impact will be seen or felt, and, it will be very closely watched. It's very important
also perhaps on the long shipping. So it could be useful for the long shipping. This could be also another area of interest for green hydrogen, or the molecule of the green hydrogen. Yes.
Okay. So tell me something. There is a strategic partnership that Irena has with India, and I just wanted to understand what exactly that partnership is all about. Can you tell us more about it? And secondly, what do you aim to achieve on this particular trip in the larger context of the partnership that you have?
So naturally, starting from the last part of your question, always our goal is to promote the acceleration of the energy transition through a wider use of renewables. So also this agreement for us is to go in that final goal direction. Concerning the agreement as such, we have identified a few areas where we think that Irena can bring an added value. Naturally, I always make clear that Irena is not an agency that is going to the countries and say what they have to do. Irena is an agency that is there to support and working together with the countries. So we discuss with the country themselves where the area, where the capacity of Irena can bring an added value on their work. But always we are working together. So we decide that Irena can bring an added value on sharing the knowledge to the other countries. So the knowledge sharing is an area of our agreement, and this could be done through our collaborative framework. In the context of Irena, we have a collaborative framework where government, private companies, stakeholders are discussing together experience coming from different parts of the world. But we can also do this in form of event, of seminar, and capacity building. So that's an area where we think that we have decided together that we can have another value. Another area is innovation. So naturally, India is very interested in innovation. We as Irena, we are working on this with in our center in Bonn. Every year we manage to have an innovation week, and we have also innovation day in select countries. So this is something that we are discussing with the Indian government to implement our agreement in this respect. Another area is on hydrogen, as we have discussed. We have in some way led the discussion on hydrogen as an agency, so we can bring the experience, our knowledge that is mature, the experience coming from all other parts of the world, and this could be put at service of the Indian government. We can work, and we also thought of working on standard and certification. We have a line of work on that. This could be crucial for creating the market for hydrogen. Is an area that we are discussing to collaborate. Also in project facilitation, having trilateral cooperation, the beneficiary, the India and Irena working together, mixing resources, leveraging financial resources. That could be also an area of, not say least but not the last, the work on the jobs and just transition. They have a line of work on the government on making sure that the worker will not suffer but will benefit from the energy transition. So we are, and there is a very good work that is made by the Skill Council and we are projecting to produce a report that will focus on India. We have this annual job reports that we publish in collaboration with the International Labour Organization, and we are thinking about a special report on the perspective of India, how is India is doing, and what are the perspective in this area. So these are the area of the agreement, and we are trying to understand for each of these area what are the deliverables that we can bring, especially in the next special year of the G20 presidency by India.
Okay. No doubt. This entire impact on jobs as far as energy transition is concerned, it's a very important topic, and it keeps coming up every now and then, and it's something that has to be looked at seriously. This special report that you're talking about that you're going to produce with ILO, when exactly will this come out?
Oh, this is the report that we produced with ILO has come, I think it's in October last year, and will come regularly also next year. And we are thinking about a special report in discussing in 2023, focusing on India. Okay,
fine. My last question to you is on, of course, on the Ukraine crisis. We know that a crisis is developing there, and it's very important to understand, what kind of impact could it have on the growth of the energy transition and the entire renewable energy industry globally. So for example, supply chains are being disrupted, and it's in a lot of markets. It has the potential of derailing the entire growth that has happened so far. How do you look at it? What could go wrong? How should we at a larger global level try and address that problem and maybe insulate the growth of this industry from this broad issue?
So the first thing that I like to say that the volatility of the prices are a characteristic of a fossil fuel-based system of the past. How many times this has been happening in the last 2 decades or 3 decades? Many times, starting from the 70s in the last century. So these are an intrinsic characteristics of a fossil fuel-based system. So the Ukrainian crisis has exacerbated in some way an intrinsic bad quality of the old energy system. So in this day, what we are accessing is the evidence that a fossil fuel-based system with a few actors in the market is not anymore a reliable energy system to sustain development. So this has to be clear. And trying to understand the crisis in the wider context of the lack of reliability of a fossil fuel centralized based system. The other aspect is that when we talk about oil and gas, we have to also build a reasoning in the context of what the IPCC report says. So the IPCC report 1.5 said oil and gas has to decrease from 2 years ago. And the gas is going to decline from 2025. So we need to have clearly in mind that the Ukrainian crisis can accelerate our response to be in line with what the IPCC says. So it's very important to understand that we say in our last World Energy Outlook, without a disruptive change in the way we produce and consuming energy, the 1.5 degrees will disappear, a goal will disappear shortly. And even the 2 degrees will disappear if we don't change our gear of speed. So in responding to the Ukrainian crisis, we have also to respond to the call to put our economies in line with a path that will be coherent with the Paris Agreement goals.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir, for that great answer. You're basically saying that, first of all, the intrinsic nature of the fossil fuel-based system is such that it is going to be exposed to, harsh realities like this. And also, it is also a grim reminder of, the urgent need to respond to the climate change crisis that has been building. And, we may be slightly, in fact, late to be responding, to it in time, keeping in view the fact that, 1.5 degree scenario has to be met.
There is also another element, if you may wish, I can add, is that this makes also clear how the dependency coming from a fossil fuel system are now affecting a large number of countries. We have to reflect that 80% of countries in the world is importing fossil fuels, 80%. So, and in all this country, there could be enough sun, wind, water, engineering to move to a new energy system. Yesterday, I think the presence of the European Commission has been here in New Delhi, I think in the headquarters of ISA, say we want to accelerate our move to solar energy, to renewable energy. This is one of the consequences of this crisis, in my point of view, with the difficulties of today. So it's very important that we link the response in the short term with the medium and long-term objective of the Paris Agreement. And also this call to ensure more independency will be another, push toward the new energy system.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lagamera. Thank you for those really great answers, and thanks for putting in context a lot of these really important issues or subjects or topics. Things like energy transition. The world today is watching where are we headed and how and what is the pace at which we are growing. Not just India, but globally, right? And it's very, very important to have a perspective of this kind on the space of growth. Thank you for your time. I will not ask you to stay. I will not take more of your time. Please carry on. It was an absolutely fantastic experience talking to you, and we really look forward to hosting you again. Thank you, sir.
That's too kind to me.
Pleasure.
Grazie. Ciao.
Pleasure.